Welcome to Escape Behind the Scene. I'm Akari.
And I'm Alex.
This map holds the key to today's mystery.
Think about one of the most iconic, perfect comedic performances of the 1980s.
Okay, my mind immediately goes to Marty McFly. The charm, the physical comedy, Michael J. Fox is Marty McFly.
Exactly. You can't imagine anyone else in that role. But what if I told you that for 5 full weeks of filming, Marty McFly wasn't a comedic character at all? He was the hero of a dark, serious drama.
Wait, what? A drama? Back to the Future?
A straight-up drama. The first actor cast, Eric Stoltz, played him with a brooding intensity. And the director, Robert Zemeckis, watched the footage every day, getting this sinking feeling that the entire movie was about to collapse.
Okay, this feels like we just uncovered a completely different timeline. This is the story of a film that almost erased itself from existence before it was even made.
It really is. And to understand how they got there, you have to go back to the beginning. Michael J. Fox was always their first choice. Always. The writers, Bob Gale and Robert Zemeckis, knew he had that energy they needed.
But he was committed to Family Ties, right? The TV show?
Completely locked in. The show's producer wouldn't even let him see the script. So they had to move on. They cast Eric Stoltz, who was this incredible rising dramatic actor. He'd just been in the film Mask and was getting huge acclaim.
So on paper, it's a great hire. A serious actor taking on a big summer movie. But it sounds like his approach was different.
Very different. Stoltz was a method actor, and he took it seriously. Crew members said he insisted on being called Marty on set all the time. If you called him Eric, he might not respond. He even wanted to grow his fingernails long and dirty because he thought that's what a real guitar player would have.
Huh. Okay, I can see how that might not fit the vibe of a big giant summer teen movie, as the filmmakers called it. But was it actually causing problems?
Oh yeah, it created real friction. Thomas F. Wilson, who played Biff, tells this story about the cafeteria scene, where Biff confronts Marty. Apparently Stoltz was so into the physicality of the role that during take after take, he was shoving Wilson so hard that he actually hurt his collarbone.
No way. And Wilson's quote on that is incredible. He basically said, "It's a movie. It's only in pretend times that you can push me like that and I don't punch you right in the face." You can feel the tension there.
Exactly. It wasn't just a creative difference, it was a physical one. And all this time, Zemeckis and Spielberg are looking at the dailies, the raw footage, and realizing they aren't getting the laughs they hoped for. Leah Thompson, who played Lorraine, said Stoltz saw drama in things and wasn't a comedian.
So, the evidence is piling up. The cinematographer even started only shooting Christopher Lloyd's side of conversations, basically anticipating that Marty's side would have to be reshot with someone else.
It's a huge tell. They knew. Zemeckis knew. He realized he hadn't just made a casting mistake. He had miscast the soul of his movie.
So what do? You're 5 weeks into shooting. Millions of dollars have been spent. The set is built, the crew is hired. Firing your lead actor at this stage is almost unheard of.
It's the nuclear option, and Zemeckis had to go to the studio and make the case. He later called it the worst experience of my career. He said he broke Stoltz's heart. On January 10th, 1985, he pulled Eric Stoltz aside and told him it was over.
That is devastating for an actor. Stoltz himself said it was probably the worst thing that could happen to you in your career. But for the production, what does that actually mean logistically?
It means chaos. First, you have to get your original choice. They went back to Michael J. Fox, and this time they struck a deal. But it was insane. Fox was shooting Family Ties all day.
And Back to the Future all night?
All night, he was working 18 to 20-hour days, sleeping in the van between sets. A truly grueling schedule. And then there's the money. The reshoots added an estimated $3 to $4 million to the budget.
$4 million in 1985 money. That's a massive bet. They were essentially throwing away 5 weeks of work and doubling down.
It was a massive, massive bet. They kept it secret for as long as they could because they didn't want the movie to be labeled troubled. But eventually the trade papers found out, and that's exactly what happened.
So now they're not just over budget and behind schedule, they have a PR problem. The entire industry is watching, probably expecting a legendary flop. This reminds me a bit of the chaos around the Star Wars holiday special we talked about, where the production problems just spiraled.
It has that same feel of a runaway train. But here's the difference. Zemeckis and Spielberg weren't letting it crash. They were trying to steer it back onto the right track, no matter the cost. And that's where the strategic decision comes in. Why make this incredibly risky, expensive, and painful choice? Because they understood something fundamental about the story they were telling.
That it's a comedy at its core.
Precisely. It's not about the tragedy of being displaced in time. It's about the absurdity of it. It's about your mom hitting on you. It's about trying to teach rock and roll to a 1950s sock hop. Stoltz's performance, as brilliant as it may have been, was in the wrong genre.
It's like casting a Shakespearean actor to lead a Saturday morning cartoon. The talent is immense, but the instrument is tuned for a completely different orchestra.
That's the perfect analogy. And Michael J. Fox was tuned perfectly. Christopher Lloyd said Fox brought this charm and ad-libbed energy that elevated everything. He had that lightness of touch that the whole movie depended on.
So the $4 million bet wasn't just about recasting an actor. It was a bet on the film's entire identity. They could have released the Stoltz version, a more serious, perhaps interesting, but ultimately flawed film, and maybe it would have been fine. But they were betting that the right identity would make it a phenomenon.
It's a classic business case of good versus great. Do you ship the product that's good enough to avoid more costs and controversy? Or do you take the massive financial and reputational hit to create something truly great? They chose great.
And that decision created two completely separate narratives, two different timelines for the film itself. The one that was, and the one that became iconic.
Exactly. You have these two parallel Martys. The Stoltz Marty, the hero of a dark sci-fi film, is erased from the timeline. The Fox Marty, the charming comedic hero, becomes the one we all know. For decades, those two stories just ran in parallel, a piece of Hollywood lore.
But then, just this year, those timelines finally converged, almost 40 years later.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. In his new memoir, Future Boy, Michael J. Fox writes about finally meeting Eric Stoltz. He wrote him a letter, kind of joking, prepared for a piss-off response. Instead, he got a warm, funny, thoughtful reply.
Wow, so they actually met after all this time.
They met, and Fox said there was no animosity. They just talked about their paths, and now they have this friendly correspondence. It's this beautiful human postscript to one of the most brutal stories in casting history. Stoltz went on to have a great career in Pulp Fiction, Jerry Maguire, directing TV. He was fine.
That's incredible. It's like the film's own themes of alternate timelines and course correction played out in real life. But speaking of timelines, the movie's own internal logic gets famously messy.
Oh, famously. This is where the story splits again, between the rules the movie says it has and the rules it actually follows. And the biggest example is in part 3.
The Tombstone Paradox.
The Tombstone Paradox. In 1955, Marty finds Doc Brown's tombstone from 1885. That's the only reason he knows to go back in time to save him. But once he saves Doc, the tombstone vanishes from the photo. So?
Wait, so if the tombstone never existed, Marty would have had no reason to go back. But if he didn't go back, Doc would have died, and the tombstone would exist. It's a perfect causal loop. A chicken or the egg problem,
that should, by Doc's own warnings, unravel the universe.
And the movie just rolls with it. The filmmakers have sort of hand-waved it over the years. Some discussions point to deleted scenes suggesting that every change creates a new timeline, so maybe Biff fading away after returning the almanac is a clue. But the film itself never commits to one rule.
Right. The rate of change is inconsistent. Sometimes things happen slowly, like Marty fading from the photograph. Other times, it's instant. It prioritizes narrative tension over logical consistency.
And that's the fascinating thing, isn't it? The film's legacy is defined by these paradoxes, both on-screen and off. The production was a mess that corrected itself into a classic. The plot is full of holes that fans have been debating with love for 40 years.
It's almost like the imperfections are part of the feature set now. Nobody's asking for a version where the time travel is perfectly logical. The fun is in the debate. Why don't his parents recognize him as Calvin Klein? How could Biff return to 2015 unchanged?
Exactly. The discussions online still rage about this stuff. One perspective that emerged suggests time travelers retain memories of old timelines, which is why Marty remembers the tombstone. It's a fan theory, but it's an attempt to patch a hole the movie left open.
Even Michael J. Fox himself, in his new book, addresses a minor one. The Gibson guitar he plays in 1955 wasn't released until 1958. And he basically says, yeah, we knew. It was an artistic choice. It just looked cooler.
And that might be the ultimate lesson of Back to the Future. It's a story about the messy, illogical, and often contradictory process of making something great. They made a $4 million bet to fix a dramatic problem, and in doing so, created a comedy classic so beloved that we're willing to forgive all its other paradoxes.
The story behind the screen is as much of a timeline-altering adventure as the one on it. And the fact that the two Martys, Fox and Stoltz, finally got their own happy ending, that's a better resolution than any fan theory could have written.
Welcome to Word'em! Hello, puzzle people! I'm Webster Gridley, your official guide to the world of Word'em.
Can we be honest for a second? You know that feeling when you finish your daily word puzzle? You have to wait 24 whole hours to play again? Who has time for that? Not me, and I bet not you. That's why we built Word'em. The waiting game? Over. Sure, we have the daily challenge. Everyone gets the same word once a day, so you can still brag to your friends. But flip the switch to free play, and you have infinite puzzles. Forever! Got a roommate who ruins your stats?
Word'em lets you create separate profiles right on the same device.
Your streak is safe with me.
It's sleek, it's animated, it's fun.
Word'em! Play daily. Play forever.